In the midst of a blocked road, Oda, a Yakuza member, awakens to find himself clad only in his underwear, facing the infamous assassin, Baksun. Rather than ending his life on the spot, Baksun shares a lesson she learned from her daughter, Jae-young, about the importance of fairness, an idea sparked by recent news of a senator denying allegations that his son was fraudulently admitted to college. To ensure a fair fight, she hands Oda a sword for his defense while she wields a hatchet. A fierce duel ensues between the two highly skilled fighters, culminating in Oda's victory as he kills Baksun. However, in a surprising twist, Baksun reappears unharmed, revealing that the battle was merely her way of assessing the situation and predicting the outcome. Realizing she cannot win in a fair fight, she opts for a sneakier approach and shoots Oda instead. Later, Baksun returns home to find her daughter has been hiding cigarettes, triggering memories of her own traumatic past when her abusive father forced her to eat a cigarette after catching her smoking. When Jae-young arrives home, Baksun contemplates various scenarios, all leading to conflict, and ultimately decides against reprimanding her daughter, aware that their relationship is already strained. Unbeknownst to Jae-young, her mother is an assassin, and she resents Baksun's secretive and distant nature. The following day, news of Oda's death breaks, and Min-kyu, the CEO of MK Enterprise, the assassin agency Baksun is affiliated with, expresses satisfaction with her work. Min feels a twinge of jealousy towards her brother, as she notices that Min-kyu has a soft spot for Baksun and tends to give her more attention. Meanwhile, Baksun enjoys a night out with her fellow hitmen, where her impressive sword skills and high salary, thanks to her status as a top-tier Class A assassin, draw admiration from the group. As they chat, they reflect on the 3 essential rules that Min-kyu has instilled in all assassin firms: never target minors, only accept jobs approved by their organizations, and always strive to complete assigned tasks. Breaking these rules can lead to dire consequences. After their gathering, Baksun encounters a gang of thugs who are leering at her car and hurling insults. She fires back with her own barbs, but before the situation escalates, her fellow assassin Hee-sung steps in and swiftly takes down the troublemakers. Hee-sung is just as skilled as Baksun and deserves a Class A ranking, but his standing suffered due to a fallout with the CEO. Following the scuffle, Baksun and Hee-sung share the night together, and she offers him money for his father's medical expenses, a gesture that stings his pride. Meanwhile, Jae-young is having a secret rendezvous with her girlfriend Cora. Their relationship is kept under wraps, knowing their mothers would disapprove. Their intimate moment is interrupted when a group of classmates nearly catches them, forcing Jae-young to decline Chol-woo's invitation to hang out, which leaves him visibly upset. Later, Baksun visits the MK offices to see Min-kyu, but Min-hee intercepts her and pulls her away for a special training session. In a dimly lit bathroom, Young-ji ambushes a man, sparking a fierce scuffle that reveals itself to be a training exercise at the Assassin Academy. Min-hee puts Baksun on the spot, asking her to train with Young-ji, who idolizes her. Armed with a wooden knife, Young-ji faces off against Baksun, who wields a marker, and the match begins with Baksun clearly in the lead. Young-ji cleverly executes a maneuver, tossing his weapon from one hand to the other, which would have been endearing for Baksun if the knife had been real. However, Baksun quickly counters by using her marker to draw on Young-ji's neck, a move that would signify death. Later, Baksun meets Min-kyu, who presents her with a choice between 2 envelopes for her next assignment. Upon selecting one, she realizes she's been tasked with killing a boy, but Min-kyu swiftly clarifies that he is of age. Baksun seizes the moment to remind Min-kyu that her contract is nearing its end and she plans to retire soon. Their conversation is cut short when Baksun receives a call from the school, informing her that Jae-young has stabbed Chol-woo. She hurries to the school, only to find out that her daughter faces expulsion due to her failure to provide a reason for the attack. For now, Jae-young is suspended for a week, with a decision from the committee pending. Afterward, Baksun confronts Jae-young, demanding an explanation, but Jae-young simply states that she wanted to kill Chol-woo. Later, while Hee-sung is busy cleaning up the aftermath of a job, Baksun joins her and vents about the growing distance between her and her daughter. She expresses concern that Jae-young is starting to mirror her own darker tendencies. Meanwhile, the leaders of the assassin companies under MK convene for a meeting. They've uncovered a murder that occurred outside of their sanctioned operations, and the suspect may be one of their own. Minkyu reassures everyone that if this is the case, he will not hesitate to eliminate the offender for violating their code. Unbeknownst to them, this is all part of Minhee's scheme to eliminate Boksoon and claim Minkyu for herself. As time passes, Boksoon continues to reach out to Jae-young, but the girl remains unresponsive. In that moment, she receives a call from Minkyu, who is preparing for a trip. He informs her that Young-ji will be her partner for the upcoming mission. Later that evening, the two assassins stealthily enter the victim's apartment, swiftly incapacitating him before they start staging the scene to make it appear as if he had taken his own life. Just as she is about to deliver the fatal blow, Bok suddenly recognizes the face before her and checks the goodbye note later. To her shock, she discovers that this is the senator's son, whose father is being targeted to eliminate a scandal. Her thoughts are abruptly interrupted by a call that goes straight to voicemail. Listening to the message, she hears Jae-young apologizing for everything. Motivated by this, Bok decides against killing the young man simply because of his father's shame, and she calls Minkyu to confess her mistake and that she has failed the mission. Minkyu, already at a Russian bar, puts in his earbuds to speak with Boksoon while continuing his own assignment. A fierce confrontation erupts in the bar, but Minkyu handles himself with ease, taking down every man who approaches him with precise shots and skilled hand-to-hand combat. As he fights, he demands the truth, but Boksoon remains steadfast in her story, even persuading Young-ji to admit to a mistake to lend credibility. Minkyu points out that Boksoon has broken the rules, and to ensure his silence, she agrees to extend her contract with MK instead of retiring. Her only stipulation is that no one can complete the mission she failed, and Minkyu agrees. When Boksoon returns home, she finds Jae-young already asleep. However, as she leaves the room, it becomes clear that Jae-young was only pretending to be asleep, seeking comfort because So-ra has been unresponsive to her messages. After finishing his own task, Minkyu contacts Min-hee, instructing her to close the senator's case, disregarding the potential damage to the company's reputation. Minkyu's clear favoritism towards Boksoon only fuels Min-hee's resentment towards her. Determined to seek vengeance, she sets out to find Lee-sung, asking him to complete Boksoon's botched mission. He eagerly agrees, knowing it could elevate him to the A-leagues and provide the funds needed for his father's medical care. As they fly, Minkyu reflects on the day he first encountered Boksoon years ago. During a hit, he had broken into a house to eliminate a target, only to be surprised when the man's daughter returned home unexpectedly. This girl was Boksoon, who showed no fear despite the danger. She even kicked the chair out from under her father to ensure the job was done. Minkyu was struck by her bravery and quick wit, leading him to mentor her in the ways of an assassin. Later, Boksoon finally has a heart-to-heart with her daughter, who reveals the truth about recent events. Chulwoo had taken a photo of her and So-ra sharing a kiss and threatened to expose it unless Jae-young agreed to date him for a month. To complicate things, So-ra urged Jae-young to comply for the sake of her reputation. Feeling betrayed by her girlfriend's insensitivity, Jae-young retaliated by stabbing Chulwoo with scissors. Boksoon is taken aback to learn her daughter is attracted to girls and questions whether Jae-young is simply confused, which deeply wounds her daughter and prompts her to remind Boksoon of her own secrets. Their discussion is cut short by a visit from Young-ji. Initially, Boksoon perceives this as a threat, but she quickly relaxes when Young-ji reveals she's been let go, blamed for failing to support Boksoon. Overcome with guilt, Boksoon invites Young-ji to dinner at a bar, leaving Jae-young to witness her mother prioritizing work once more. At the bar, Boksoon's assassin friends arrive with Hee-sung, celebrating his rise to A rank, which raises alarms for Boksoon. Meanwhile, Minkyu confronts Min-hee aggressively about completing the senator's assignment, but she responds by attempting to kiss him. He rejects her advances, remaining steadfast in his support for Bok-soon. At the bar, Boksoon catches sight of the news regarding the boy's death and quickly pieces together what transpired. Her reprimand of Hee-sung is abruptly cut off by a call from Min-hee, who insists on being put on speaker. Min-hee then presents a deadly challenge, whoever can eliminate Bok Soon will instantly rise to rank B. Chaos erupts as a fierce brawl ensues, with even the bar owner getting involved. To Bok Soon's surprise, Young-ji steps in to assist her, taking down the attackers one by one with whatever weapons they can grab. Eventually, only Hee-sung remains. As Bok Soon approaches him, Hee-sung pleads with her to look after his father before he meets his end. Afterward, Bok Soon contacts the cleaning crew and questions Young-ji's motives for helping her. Young-ji reveals that her desire to survive led her to back Bok Soon, believing she had a better chance of winning. Just then, Bok Soon receives a call from Jae-hyung, who is anxious for her mother to return home. Suddenly, Min-kyu barges in, shoving Bok Soon against the wall in a fit of rage over her rule-breaking, which could land him in hot water with the other leaders. To protect her daughter from hearing this, he swiftly destroys her phone. Young-ji interjects, clarifying that it was Min-hee who issued the orders. Min-kyu demands that Bok Soon come to the office the next day to renew her contract, claiming it's the only way to ensure her safety. Bok Soon, however, refuses, recognizing that this disrespect will lead to conflict. Yet, after weighing her options, she realizes she has no choice but to agree to the contract renewal. Once Bok Soon departs, Min-kyu urges Young-ji to keep this incident under wraps. Back at home, Bok Soon faces her daughter's frustration for not answering her calls. Jae-young reveals that RA has broken up with her and is now denying her feelings for girls. Bok Soon apologizes for her earlier reaction and reassures Jae-young that she doesn't need to hide her true self. She experiences a breakdown, prompting Jae-young to realize that her mother has also endured a terrible day at work. They connect over their shared struggles, while Bok Soon remains vague about the specifics. Suddenly, Jae-young reveals that she once discovered a gun and a fake passport in her mother's bag, leading her to suspect that Bok Soon might be involved with the CIA. Feeling a newfound closeness with her daughter, Bok Soon doesn't refute the idea. The following day, the company executives convene to address the murders of their men, with suspicions falling on Min-kyu. He defends Bok Soon, claiming she acted in self-defense and offers financial restitution. However, some executives doubt his account and insist he handle the situation according to their rules, even handing him a blade to do so. Instead of complying, Min-kyu brutally kills one of the bosses right on the table, asserting his dominance by declaring a new rule: no weapons during meetings. Meanwhile, Bok Soon heads to the office to finalize a contract, only to encounter Min-hee, who reveals that Min-kyu killed Young-ji after she left the previous night. Enraged, Bok Soon stabs Min-hee with a pen, leaving the weapon behind as a message to Min-kyu that she seeks a confrontation. Later that evening, Bok Soon shares a warm dinner with Jae-young, even allowing her to skip the vegetables, wanting her to cherish a final happy memory in case she doesn't return. Moments later, Bok Soon arrives at the office, and as soon as the elevator doors open, Min-kyu starts shooting at her. Yet, she remains still, aware that he isn't serious yet. However, hearing him talk about the old days makes her realize he does have a weakness, and that's Bok Soon herself. It turns out Min-kyu had been in love with her all this time, and when Bok Soon finally says it aloud, it's enough to distract Min-kyu and kill him with a samurai sword. Bok Soon was invited for a drink, with Min-kyu confidently claiming he had already foreseen the outcome of their battle, predicting her defeat. As Bok Soon pondered over countless strategies in her mind, attempting to eliminate Min-kyu, she found herself thwarted at every turn. Yet, as she listened to him reminisce about the past, a realization struck her: he had a vulnerability, and that vulnerability was her. Deep down, he held a special affection for her all along. When Bok Soon finally voiced this revelation, it caught Min-kyu off guard, allowing her the opportunity to strike him down with a samurai sword. In his final moments, Min-kyu admitted to sending a tablet to Jae-young, enabling her to witness everything through security footage. Overwhelmed with panic, Bok Soon hurried home, fearing her daughter would resent her. However, she found Jae-young peacefully asleep in her bed, leaving her to wonder if Min-kyu had been lying. Just then, Jae-young awoke and expressed her admiration for Bok Soon's relentless dedication to their family, filling her with guilt and uncertainty about whether her daughter truly remained unaware. Later, it came to light that the senator had caused his son's death through carbon monoxide poisoning, hinting at Bok Soon's involvement. Jae Young faced expulsion from school, but decided to visit one last time, to bid farewell to her friends. As she shook hands with So-ra, she leaned in to whisper that she had considered whether to kiss her in front of everyone or to eliminate her instead, prompting a smile from So-ra afterward. She locked eyes with Cole Woo, lightly touching her neck as a reminder of her own capabilities.